Hey everybody, your good neighbor Colonel Krank here, and I just wanted to talk real quick about the Nintendo Direct that happened a few days ago. The seemingly last Direct for the Switch 1, or rather at least the last one that's going to be focused entirely on it before we get that big Switch 2 Direct. You know, I'm sure there will be other Switch 1 games over the next few years because Nintendo likes to support their previous gens even after they move on to next gen. But this was like the last major Switch 1 focused Direct. You know, just get all these games out of the way before we get into the big Switch 2 extravaganza and really set sail on the next generation and kind of leave the Switch behind. You know, not entirely. We're not going to just completely stop getting Switch 1 games as soon as the Switch 2's out. And, you know, this Direct actually does kind of establish that of like, no, there are still going to be a few Switch games in 2026, presumably after the Switch 2 is out, but we'll get to that. But no, this is the last kind of spotlight that the Switch 1 is going to get for its successors out. And for what it's worth, I think for like essentially like a going away party, a going away Direct, it was pretty good. It wasn't like huge, but I wasn't expecting it to be. I wasn't expecting anything. Like I assume most major first-party Nintendo games are going to be at that Switch 2 Direct next week. So I was expecting this to be a smaller Direct, and that's for the most part what it was. So even with that in mind, there were some really exciting little announcements, and there was some stuff here that actually caught me off guard that I wasn't expecting to see. It left me excited for the future of the Switch, even as I know the Switch 2 is on the way, and even as I know that the future of the Switch is probably going to be, yeah, you're probably going to play most of these games on a Switch 2 if you can get your hands on one. And that's kind of how I've been feeling. So let's get into it. First game, Dragon Quest 1 Plus 2 remake. These still look good. I played the Dragon Quest 3 remake, didn't get a chance to finish it, not because I wasn't enjoying it. I was. It's a really good remake. It's visually gorgeous. The HD 2D style still works wonders for these kind of games, and it's just a really nice update of Dragon Quest 3. The only reason I haven't finished is because I hadn't had time, and I also started Mario and Luigi Brothership, so it's like, okay, I have 2 fucking RPGs I gotta finish now, and so I just haven't had the time to go back to it, but I really want to. So if nothing else, seeing the 1 Plus 2 remake is a good reminder to be like, oh yeah, I should go finish 3 so I can pick up 1 Plus 2 and kind of roll right into those, especially since I've already beaten 1 Plus 2. Like, I beat the Switch ports already on there, which I think are the Android ports, the mobile phone ports that they just put on Switch, so I'll be really curious to see how these differ from those. I assume they'd be a lot more high quality because the ports that are on Switch right now are like okay, but they're very bare minimum. They're just like, this is very much a translation of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 put onto mobile phones and then later the Switch, so it's not really got any kind of fancy bells and whistles or improvements to the game. And so that's why I'm hoping where the remakes come in. I hope the remakes do a little more to kind of gussy up these games for modern time, especially too since they're not super long games, especially for RPGs. Like, I remember beating Dragon Quest 1 in like, I think 1 sitting. It's only like 4 or 5 hours, so it's not like a huge game or anything. So I imagine having both, and the second one is very similar in that regard. It also only takes a few hours to beat. So I would imagine like combining these games into one little package, even then it's still going to be kind of a shorter RPG experience compared to what you're used to for like a modern RPG, which, you know, 80 hours, 100 hours. A lot of modern RPGs really kind of give you your money's worth in terms of like time and content. And while I doubt this collection is going to be the collection remake, I guess 2 for 1 we'll call it, like this 2 for 1 package is going to be quite as meaty as like a Metaphor or a Dragon Quest 11. I assume they're going to add some new stuff in to, you know, kind of pad out the runtime and kind of give it a little more kind of like bang for your buck, a little extra stuff into those games, so they'll take a little longer. But for what it is right now, they look good, they look fun, but there's not really much to say since like it's Dragon Quest 1 Plus 2 in the HD engine. It's, if you know Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2, this doesn't seem to be offering like too many new surprises or too much new stuff, so I hope we get to see some new content out of it soon. I hope that it is a little more meaty than what it's looking like right now, but you know, these games look good for what they are, and I'm looking forward to at least giving them a try, to see just how much they differ from the originals, and, you know, maybe giving a little like hey, these are worth it, or hey, these aren't, especially too since I think like I don't know how much they're charging for this. I think it's like $40, and Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 are like $6 each on the eShop, so yeah, they're really gonna have to like go in and do something crazy to justify like a $40 price tag on these games. So, but hey, we'll see. I guess that's already what the HD 2D is, but we'll see if there's anything like on top of that as well. After that, we got the Sonum files, No Sleep for Kaname Dante. I have no idea what this is. I've never heard of this series before, but apparently this is like a long-running series courtesy of Spike Chunsoft, and you're playing as this super spy with his hologram friend as they're basically trying to save like this pop pop star, this idol from like an escape, what they call like a killer escape game or a dastardly escape game, which like makes it sound like she's being like kidnapped by fucking Jigsaw. But yeah, so she's trapped in like this like death trap, and you gotta go find her and do a little investigation so you can save her in time. Not much to say there, but it looks cute. It looks fun. I did enjoy Famicom Detective Club last year. I enjoyed these kind of like mystery, you know, investigate, solve the crime games and see if you can like save people in time. That's why I want to give Danganronpa a shot eventually. And this kind of looks like it's in a similar vein to that. So I might give this a shot, but there's also a very good chance I might forget about it depending on how packed the year is. And oh boy, we got like Prime 4 and GTA 6. So there's a very good chance this game kind of just slips through the cracks. But yep, looks cool. And like I said, I'm sure if you're like a long running fan of the series, if you know more about this than me, you're probably a little more excited. But this just kind of caught me off guard of like, I'm sorry, what is this? Like I did not know what this was at first. After that, we got Raito Remastered from Atlas. It's another Atlas RPG, but it looks really cool. It looks kind of different from Persona or Metaphor because it's like a real-time combat system. Instead of just taking turns or like taking the moment to strategize, you're just running in and smacking devils in the face, trying to hit their weak points, and you know, you have your own devils you can summon. It looks cool. It looks like an interesting idea. You're, funny enough, also a detective in this one, but you're a detective who doubles as a devil summoner. So I assume you're gonna like use the demons you conjure, or the devils you conjure rather, to solve various crimes and fight, you know, monsters and all that. It looks cool. It looks like a really interesting time. I have been getting way more into Atlas recently. I did enjoy the Persona games, and I do want to play Metaphor. It looks super fucking good. Everything I've been told about it is that it's fantastic, and it's like I feel super bad having not played it last year. So I definitely want to get around to that. So this game looks good. Raito Remastered, I'll probably keep this on my list and give this a shot, but it looks fascinating, especially here in like 1920s Japan, it looks like. It's not just going to be a mystery game, it's also going to be a period piece, which is interesting. I wonder if how much of the real life history they're going to actually have play into the game and its setting. I wonder if that's going to be a big element of the game, or if that's more just background dressing to make the game more distinct from Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. But for either way, it looks very interesting, and it's got a very fun visual style. I like the way the various devils look, so I want to give this one a shot. Raito Remastered, that's coming out June 19th too, so that's not too far away. That'll probably be around when the Switch 2 launches, and so whether I get a Switch 2 or not, I'm gonna try. If I get a Switch 2, I'll definitely grab this and play that on there. If not, I'll just play it on my regular Switch or on Steam. I'll also see if it has a Steam release as well, but either way, this looks like a really cool kind of twist on the usual Atlas formula, and I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be good, and hopefully it'll feel unique from Atlas's other work. And oh boy, after that, we got another look at Shadow Labyrinth, the edgy Metroidvania Pac-Man that I keep looking at this game. This game is not necessarily bad looking. Like every time I look at it, it looks like a solid Metroidvania, and the more they show off, the more it's like, okay, I can see how this is like a competent game. This looks like a cool idea. I want to give this a shot, but like, why is it fucking Pac-Man? That's every time I look at this game. Question, why is it Pac-Man? Pops up in my head. It's like, this could have been an original property. This could have been like anything else Namco owns. And they said, nah, dark and edgy fucking Pac-Man, boy. Like, we're back in like the 2010s, in the days of Bomberman Act Zero and fucking the Bionic Commando reboot where his wife is his arm, or his wife's like mind is in his robot arm. Like, this feels like it's from that same era. And so it's just funny to me that this is a game coming out in modern day. And so I'm not gonna lie, that almost makes me more interested in it than the gameplay itself. And like I said, the gameplay looks fine. It looks like a solid Metroidvania. I'm not sure how I feel on the art style. It almost looks like very like clip art at times. It does look better than the first trailers. The first trailers, it did look kind of cheap. Like, I don't want to say cheap, but it looks kind of disjointed. And not in like the purposeful creepy way the game's going for, but disjointed in the fact that like just the various like artistic elements didn't blend together well, and so it made the game look kind of haphazard. This new trailer looks a lot better. Everything's kind of like blending together a lot more seamlessly, and the game just in general looks a lot more sharp. It looks a lot more polished. So hopefully they'll have the visuals ironed out by the time the game comes out. But just why? Why is this game a thing? I know it's also the same as the Amazon, like the secret level show. I almost said secret Netflix. The secret level show from Amazon, their Pac-Man episode is also the same version. I'm trying to think, did Amazon go to Bandai and Bandai already had Shadow Labyrinth? It must have been Bandai already had Shadow Labyrinth in production. Then Amazon said, hey, we're gonna do the secret level episode of Pac-Man. Do you want us to like base the secret level episode on Pac-Man? Or is it one of those things where like, I don't know how long secret level was in production. I wonder if one of those things where maybe Amazon brought their idea of what they wanted to do for the Pac-Man episode to Bandai, and somebody at Bandai liked that so much, they're like, you know what? Not only are we gonna let you do that for the show, we're gonna turn it into a game. We're just gonna turn it into another game straight up for Shadow Labyrinth, and that's how this happened. I'm just like so curious. Like, I think more than anything, even if this game comes out and it's bad or it's mediocre, it's whatever, I feel like this is the game that's gonna stick in my head because I'm just gonna be like, how the fuck did it get greenlit? How the fuck did this get produced? Like, who sat down and thought any of this was like a good idea? Not in like the angry, like, who thought this was a good idea, just genuine curiosity of like, so what made you decide to do this? What made you decide to look at Pac-Man and be like, he needs some fucking edge. He needs to be like an alien dude running around a dilapidated sci-fi planet fucking eating people, man, and having like a little Pac-Man robot that goes into him and turns him into a mech. What inspired you to do this? But now with this and the secret level show, I'm really curious kind of which came first. It was like a chicken and egg scenario of like, did the secret level episode happen first and then they based this game off it? Or was this game already in production and then somebody at Amazon saw a little bit of it and based the secret level episode off it? Because either way, I am like just endlessly fascinated by this game and how it came to be. But that's coming out July 18th. That's gonna be very soon. I'm looking forward to trying that. I'm looking forward to seeing what the reviews are gonna be on that one. I might do a review for it myself, honestly. Just cause, in fact, yeah, I'm not gonna promise, but I really do want to do a review for that if I have the time and if I'm able to do it, because that game looks just weird and fascinating in a way of like, but in a way that captures my attention. Right, like in a way that I am reminded of games that I saw growing up, because I grew up during the 360 era when you saw a bunch of those series trying to get like super edgy and appeal to Western devs. So this is like weirdly nostalgic for me. It's like, oh shit, this reminds me of what game developers were doing and game publishers were doing when I was a kid. So that's also another reason. That's probably another reason why I'm so interested in it. But that's Shadow Labyrinth coming July 18th. I'm looking forward to that, as weird as it is to say. Edgy Pac-Man, edgy angry boy Pac-Man, here we go. Oh, and before I move on, I just looked back at the trailer, and one of the hashtags for this game is Consume Darkness. Holy shit, this is fucking 2014 DeviantArt shit, and I love it. Oh, this game looks so fucking stupid. It's gonna be great. Following Shadow Labyrinth was a new Patapon, which surprised me because I always keep thinking this is a Sony first-party IP. I always associate this with the PlayStation, probably because these little guys were in, I think, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, and so I've always kind of thought these were Sony, but no, these are Bandai Namco. So, slight addendum, turns out the Patapon games are made by Sony. They were originally developed for the PSP and released by Sony Interactive. So why they're on the Switch and why they're being published by Bandai Namco is kind of a mystery to me. It honestly makes these games a lot more interesting. I wonder if maybe Sony wants to start going multi-plat, because they've been doing PC releases for a while, and I know Lego Horizon did come to the Switch, so maybe this is their way of dipping their toes into the Switch water while not having to say this is like a PlayStation Studios game. But yeah, that made these Patapon ports much more interesting to me, that they are Sony games. And so they're bringing over Patapon 1+2 to the Switch. I've always liked the way Patapon looks. It looks visually distinct, it looks visually appealing, so I might give these a shot even if I've never played the games, but I don't have much to say on it. Same with Stories of Seasons. I know this is a farming sim. I know this is a spiritual successor to Harvest Moon. I was never a fan of Harvest Moon, so I'm probably not going to be super into this, but hey, it looks well made nonetheless. Both of these look well made, honestly. Story of Seasons and Patapon. Even if they're not my thing, I'll probably keep an eye and see if they review well. If they review well, I'll at least try Patapon. Maybe not so much Story of Seasons, but hey, those are cute there. And then, oh, we get to the big one. oh my god, we get to Metroid Prime 4, and oh my god, this game looks so fucking good. This game looks like it just hasn't skipped a beat since the original trilogy. Oh, I need it. I need it right now. Put it in my fucking veins. It looks so fucking phenomenal. You're on this huge jungle planet, and you get these like psychic powers, and that turns Samus into Silver the fucking Hedgehog. And just like, oh, you're scanning things again, and the scanning looks so smooth and so quick. It looks like it's gonna be really fucking snappy. It's just gonna like, you're just hopping from one thing to a next, but it still has that sense of weight and that sense of atmosphere that the original Metroid Prime games, especially the first one, mastered so well. And like it looks visually phenomenal. I still can't believe this is a Switch game. Like, this looks like something that would push like the PS5, or not PS5, the PS4's technology. Like, this looks like it could be modern gen, or at the very least like very late last gen. It's insane to me that this is on a console that's essentially just like slightly above the 360 in terms of power. I can't believe that this game exists. I can't believe that it's almost here, 2025, and Samus gets like a new suit, and it's red and black, and it looks so sleek. It's like probably one of my favorite looking Samus suits already. It's not as cool looking as the Dread suit, admittedly, but like, god, it's close. It's super close, and just everything about Metroid Prime 4 so far just still looks amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait. Like, the alien ghost you meet towards the end of the trailer reminds me a lot of the Luminoff from Metroid Prime 2, so we're probably gonna be digging super hard into like the lore of Metroid. I love when we do that, when we get to discover these ancient alien civilizations and discover what happened to them and meet like their remnants and their spirits, even if we don't see them at their height. It's so much fun to dig into this world and to the events of it. And I can't. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. And the psychic powers look really fun too. There's like a bit in you get a psychic beam basically that you shoot through enemies. It slows down, and you like traject the beam through enemies, and then it goes back into real time and just instantly incinerates them. You can use your psychic abilities to like solve little puzzles. So you have like the psychic orb that you have to move around a room, and it looks like you're like just and like you're solving puzzles with these abilities. So there's gonna be probably a lot of really cool little areas and there's gonna have so many cool upgrades with this too. I just know it. Like, they're gonna have like, maybe you could have ooh, I wonder if you're gonna be able to use your psychic powers to like maybe like, probably not like straight up fly, but do like some kind of like super jump. Like, that's how they introduce shine sparking into this game, is like Samus like uses telekinesis to propel herself forward. Oh, that'd be so fucking cool. Oh god, Metroid Prime 4. This game looks amazing. This game looks so fucking good. I can't wait for it to come out. I can't wait for it to release. It's still just 2025 and no date. I assume we're gonna get the release date at that Switch 2 Direct next week. Like, I feel like it has to happen soon if it's still coming out in 2025. Like, they can't keep us waiting much longer. They can't keep us waiting much longer. I need this game right the fuck now. It looks so fucking good. It looks so fucking good. I can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. Oh god, I need it. I love this. I like just everything we've seen so far. I love it. Love it. No notes. Just give it to me right the fuck now. This was easily the highlight of the show to me, was seeing Metroid Prime 4 again. Oh god, it's amazing. It's amazing. So much so that I'll be honest, I kind of zoned out for a little bit after that trailer because I was just still thinking about it. So I didn't really pay attention to much of what came after. There's like a little witch school game called Witchbrook. I mean, it looks cute. It looks fine. I didn't really care about it though. There's like Goldman, The Adventures of Goldman, which looks really good. It's like a little 2D. Let me check the name, make sure I'm getting that right. Oh, it's The Eternal Life of Goldman. I'm sorry. But no, this looks really cool. A DuckTales inspired 2D platformer with this really beautiful hand-drawn art style. It almost reminds me of Tintin a little bit if you ever grew up watching some of the adaptations of Tintin or even just reading the original comics. It looks a little bit like that, and it looks really cute. You're like this little old man trying to fight like a god with a pogo stick, or not a pogo stick, with a cane. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a cute idea for a platformer. And so that looks really good. There's a Gradius / Salamander collection coming out, Gradius Origins, that's going to be including a new Gradius game with Salamander free, or I guess it would be Salamander, but yeah, a new Salamander free. So it's not just a collection, they just whole ass put a new game in there, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Of just like, here's a collection of the old stuff, and here's like a new, smaller game, as if we had made this back in the day. And I'm like, that's a really fun little bonus. They did the same thing with that last Castlevania collection, where they just included a remake of Haunted Castle alongside the DS games in the original version. So I'm like, oh, that's super cute. That's super fun. I love whenever collections do that. There's a new Tamagotchi game. Is it Tamagotchi? The dude in the direct said Tamagotchi, and I'm like, that can't be it. It's gotta be Tamagotchi. I've only ever heard it called Tamagotchi. Unless, are they two different things? I've seen that little bunny dude on Tamagotchis. So it's like, is Tamagotchi like a spinoff? I'm not sure what it is, but that kind of fucked with my head a little bit of like, no wait, it's not Tamagotchi, it's Tamagotchi. But apparently it's been Tamagotchi. I guess I've been saying it wrong my entire life. I'll probably still just say Tamagotchi because that's what's drilled into me. But a new Tamagotchi game. I didn't really know what this was. I guess you're like running around a city plaza. I'll admit, I did not know what this was. I was just like, okay, that's cool. Move on, please. Like, I was just like still on, man, Metroid Prime 4 looks so good. I'm sorry to go back to that, but just, oh man, that looks good. But Tamagotchi Plaza is there too, I guess. That was fun. Oh, and the Necrodancer series is back with a new Guitar Hero-like, a new rhythm game by the name Rift of the Necrodancer. It looks pretty good. I love the 2D art style. It's got a really vibrant color pattern to it. It's just very visually appealing, if nothing else. I was never the hugest Guitar Hero person. I'm willing to give this a shot. Oh no, that's not true. I used to play Guitar Hero a lot in middle school, but I would always play it with friends. I didn't really play it all that much on my own, but I'm looking forward to trying this out, getting back to the mood. Hopefully this has a good multiplayer mode, and hopefully this will be fun to play with friends. Plus, hey, we're getting Celeste DLC and Pizza Tower DLC, and it's always fun to see. Like, it's always like a little more fun to see the indie games cross over. It feels more personal than just like two big IPs slamming into each other of like, nah man, here's just these fun little indie games and they're all getting together and it's gonna be like a little hangout. And it's like, oh, there's Celeste, or not Celeste, there's Madeline, there's Peppino. It's really cute. So that looks fun. Rhythm of the Necrodancer, that's coming out. I think that was out later that day of the direct. Like, that was a shadow drop, which was cool. So yeah, gonna go give that a try soon. But really cute to see the Necrodancer, really cool to see the Necrodancer series keep going, and it's always fun to see little indie game crossovers. That's always just like a fun little bonus. After that, what do we got? Ooh, we got some more Pokemon gameplay. Yeah, Legend ZA still looks good. It still looks fun. I am really excited for it because it's set in Kalos, and I've always said X and Y Kalos feels like the most underdeveloped region, because there was just a whole bunch of that game that was cut for time and cut to get it onto the 3DS, just because that was really when Game Freak was starting to run into their development issues, is when they made the jump to 3D. Like, X and Y are still good games, and I still like Kalos as a region, but it's always that region that I look at and I'm like, yeah, this one could have spent a little more time in the oven. So I'm glad that we're going to come back to it, and we're going to give it a second chance, even if it is just Lumio City. I'm curious how they're going to wrap up some of the story beats of X and Y. Like, hey, wasn't Malva technically part of Team Flare, but that never went anywhere. I didn't mean to rhyme. I was trying to find a way to say that without rhyming, but then it just came out anyways. But that looks good. We'll see how that turns out. That's later this year too. Man, this year is gonna be packed, even just for Nintendo stuff. This is gonna be, I'm gonna have to find out how I'm gonna carve out time to play this. But there's Legend ZA, that looks good. A new Rhythm Heaven game after that, which surprised me because I know Rhythm Heaven has never been like a great seller. In fact, it always sold pretty poorly, like even on super popular platforms like the Wii or the 3DS. So I just kind of figured like, yeah, no, Rhythm Heaven's gonna kind of take a break. And I mean, I guess it did. The last one was Mega Mix on the 3DS, and that was all the way back in 2016. So, you know, it's been almost a decade. So it has certainly taken a break. But now it's back with Rhythm Heaven Groove, and it looks really good. It looks really fun, and Rhythm Heaven it's like a really good choice for the Switch. You know, you have plenty of like little gimmicks you can play around with the Switch's gyro, or maybe they could find a way to use the Switch's IR sensor to, like, you know, maybe shake your hand over the sensor to the rhythm to complete this mini game. But no, it looks really good. I've always loved the Rhythm Heaven series because of just how bizarre it is. I've never been good at it because I have a terrible sense of rhythm, but I love those games regardless, so I'm always happy to see a new one show up. And this one is slated for 2026, which is kind of getting into what I was talking about earlier of, like, they are making sure that the Switch is going to still have, like, the Switch 1 is still going to be supported even after the Switch 2 is out. They're going to make sure that this console isn't going to be left to the dust. You know, it is going to be more of a slow transition, a la how the 3DS was, like, slowly winded down as the Switch came out, rather than just immediately stopping like the Wii U. And I think that's good. I think that's ultimately a good thing. You know, let this system still have a little bit of juice in the tank even after successor out, so people who can't immediately get a Switch 2, which will probably be a lot of people, either for monetary reasons or for, if not for monetary reasons, then for just availability, because Nintendo consoles are always a pain in the ass to get in their first few months. So having some, like, having some Switch games that are still coming out into the Switch 2's life cycle is nice. And Rhythm Heaven is kind of the perfect game for that, because it's not huge, it's not a 3D Mario, it's not a Zelda, it's not anything that's going to move consoles, but it has a very dedicated niche fan base. It serves a very particular audience who loves quirky rhythm games that are just all about, you know, getting in line with the music, hearing, just like getting into a beat and just going with the flow and seeing how well you can do, what's your high score. And so people will absolutely love this. I'm sure people will absolutely love this game and eat it up. I know I will. It'll be really fun to see. And plus, there's just so many mini games you can add, like more through DLC and free updates. You can just keep this game going forever and ever. So even if this game comes out and it's a little while before the next Rhythm Heaven, they can really have a chance to make this one like a really substantial, like long-lasting entry in the series to keep you busy for a while. So that's exciting. That's good to see Rhythm Heaven back. Good to see that the Switch isn't going to be just kind of like immediately winded down once the Switch 2 is open, or once the Switch 2 is out there. That has me excited in and of itself. And plus, this game, like, I think they're doing something different with the art style, because the little, like, circle dudes in the beginning that are jumping through the hoops, they've got like a scratchiness to them. If you look at their outlines, they look a little more scraggly, as if they're like meant to be like kind of like a practice drawing, rather than something that's like super smoothed out and clean. And so I like that. It just makes them look a little sillier. But this game just looks adorable. Like, this game just really looks cute. So I can't wait to try out Rhythm Heaven Groove, and that's gonna be next year. Hopefully that's not like too late into the year. Hopefully that's like a January, February release, so we don't have to wait too long. But man, that looks great. A new Rhythm Heaven. Man, Nintendo is just really great. One thing I love about Nintendo in like the latter years of their consoles is when they just like have to dig through. It's like, okay, we already did Smash, we already did Zelda, we already did the big ones. Fuck. What's like a weird obscure series you can do? Rhythm Heaven? Yeah, Rhythm Heaven. Let's do that. I love when they have to like dig through their back catalog and find lesser known series and like underutilized series to use to keep their consoles going towards the end of their life cycles. That's always just fun to me whenever they have to go do that. Hopefully they'll do it with like Star Fox or like a Punch Out. Hopefully that'll happen soon. But you know, that's neither here nor there. That's a topic for another day. So moving on, we had not a game, but a new feature of the Nintendo Switch, and presumably the Switch 2. Digital game sharing. So what this is, apparently all of your games now, all your digital games, as far as I can tell, are going to be treated like physical game cards. So like if you have a physical game, you can lend that out to a friend and they can play it, but obviously since you don't have that physical game, you can't play it as well. So this is basically a way to replicate that with digital Switch games. If somebody's on your friend list, you can pick out a game and like give them a game for 2 weeks. So for instance, if I'm like, hey, I love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, this is one of the best 2D platformers of all time, I want someone on my friends list to play this, I can lend that out to them for 14 days, and then I'll get it back automatically, and just I can't play it during those 14 days, but that gives my friend some time to play that. I wonder what's going to be like the statute of limitations on that, because if you're lending your friend something like a Persona game where it's like an 80-hour RPG, a 100-hour RPG, is it going to be like, hey, I can loan you this for 2 weeks, and then if you don't finish it, can I just immediately loan it to them again? Or can I like extend it by like 2 weeks and I'd be like, hey, do you want to offer your friend an extension because they're not quite done with Persona 5 yet? And I'll be like, okay, sure. So I'm curious how that's going to work, and I assume this is going to be this is going to be an NSO feature. So this is something that I assume everyone's going to have to like be paying NSO for and paying their subscription. So I'm curious how much use this will actually get, but I certainly want to use this. I've been saying for a while now, I wish the console manufacturers, that the console holders, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo would make something similar, would just let you gift people games like Steam does. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do on Steam, is just find a game on sale, get a copy for myself, then look down my friends list, and then also gift that game to a friend to be like, hey, this game looks cool. Do you want to try it? Do you want to, like, because we can both start it around the same time and we can like play it for a little bit and talk about it, and then almost have like a little book club but for games. I would love to have that for the various consoles, especially for the Switch, since there's so many like obscure games, or there's so many like first party Nintendo games that Nintendo is still like stubbornly charging $60 for. And I do have friends who are like, yeah, I'd buy that game if it wasn't like $60. Like, I'd buy Metroid Dread or Tropical Freeze if it wasn't $60, which is a shame to me because those games are excellent. Those are totally worth the $60. So I'm absolutely willing to just buy other people copies and then be like, hey, here's your copy of Tropical Freeze, here's your copy of Metroid Dread, just don't even worry about it. So I do wish they would introduce just full-on games, like game gifting. But for what it is, this is kind of a good like next best thing scenario of just like, well, instead of like buying a whole new copy of the game, you can just gift yours. So you can just gift your friend Metroid Dread and let them play through the game, or you can just gift your game. You can just like, yeah, you can just gift your friend that game. And hey, maybe if they like it, maybe if they want it, they'll like buy it themselves. Or maybe if they never were gonna buy it, maybe they're just like, I'm just not gonna spend the money on it. At the very least, this gets them to play it, and this gets them to enjoy the game enough that like when the next game comes around. So like if you gift your friend Metroid Prime Remastered, even if they're like, I don't want to spend $40 on a remaster, if you gift them that game and they like it enough, they'll be like, well, I like Metroid Prime now, so I'm going to get Metroid Prime 4 when that drops because I'm invested in the series now after playing Prime Remastered. So I think this is a really cool feature. I kind of wish more consoles will let you do this. I feel like Xbox lets you do something like this. I think they let you do this with like Game Share or xCloud. I'd have to look that up. It's been a while since I've owned an Xbox. I've been mainly like PlayStation and Nintendo, and then recently Steam. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that shakes out. But this is a really cool little idea. This is a really cool little system for just giving other people your games and letting people try out these titles. We'll see how much it actually gets used, but I like the idea of it so far. I really like the idea of it, and I'm excited to see, or maybe excited is not the wrong word, or not the right word, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see how much this will affect people and their game buying habits and their game playing habits. If people are just gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna like borrow this game from my friend, and oh, I really like this series, I'm gonna go buy it myself. I'm gonna go buy the rest of the series. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully that actually gets people like into more series and like helps people discover games that they might not have gotten otherwise, that they're now like kind of like psyched to play. So that's looking cool. I'm looking cool. I too wish you, the only thing is I wish you could just gift people games. Like, I wish if like my friend really liked Persona 5, like I could either just like buy a copy for them and gift it, or even just be like, hey, instead of like getting my game back, I'll just like permanently give you that copy of Persona 5, then I'll buy myself another one or something. Like, even something like that I think would be really cool. That's just like the one thing I would add. But otherwise, like, this is a fun idea. This is a really creative idea, and I hope it catches track. I hope it gains traction. I hope that this is something that gets used enough that other console holders will look at that and be like, hey, we should have something like that. We should have like a system for like sharing your games, your digital games with other people. And so if you want to like spread the word, you can talk about these games and you can get other people to like play the games you enjoy, and just like hook people on the series that you're hooked on at the moment. So that's gonna be fun, and I'm probably gonna find a way to annoy all of the people on my friends list with that by just gifting them the games that I want them to play. Be like, hey, play this, hey, play this, hey, play this. So that's gonna be fun. Other than that, there was a few more games. Nothing that really stood out to me too much. Saga Frontier 2 is getting a remake and it looks alright. There's like a golf game that looks interesting, but I don't really have much to say on it. And then the last game before the wrap up that I really have anything to say on was Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Or rather, is Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Another 2D beat 'em up from .emu, the folks who did Shredder's Revenge. And it basically just looks like Shredder's Revenge 2, but with Marvel characters. And honestly, it looks fun. It looks like a really good time. I absolutely adore Shredder's Revenge, both because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan, but also because it is just a really satisfying 2D beat 'em up. It's got a great sense of flow. It's got a great sense of speed to it. You know, you're constantly hopping around, beating the shit out of enemies, dodging, using super attacks. It's incredibly fun. So if they just translate that to a Marvel game, if they just translate that to the Marvel universe, and just do that again, but with Marvel characters, I'm looking forward to it. The roster's also like kind of fun because it's most of who you'd expect, but then some weird ones. So you have Spider-Man, you have Captain America, you have Wolverine, you have the characters that like you would expect for a Marvel game. You have like Storm and Venom, and that's cool. But then you have Quasar and fucking Nova, and I'm like, why those two of all people? Probably because we're going to the cosmic side of the Marvel universe, and we're fighting Annihilus. So it looks like we're probably gonna be calling back to Annihilation. So yeah, I love those little like kind of obscure picks for character, or not obscure, but kind of those like deep cuts for the roster. And also too, they've shown some more. This wasn't shown in the direct, but there's some like screenshots shown, and the roster select is literally a Marvel versus Capcom reference, which is fucking awesome. So yeah, that's great. That Cosmic Invasion looks really fun. And that's gonna be coming out, I think that's also 2026, unfortunately. Hold on. Oh no, it's coming this holiday. It is coming this year, but it's coming towards the end of this year. Okay, so that's really cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Honestly, I just kind of hope .emu keeps doing these fun little 2D beat 'em ups with different IPs. They're really good at it, and they just clearly have a lot of love for the various series that they're adapting. They did a great job with Ninja Turtles and had a lot of love and reference for that. I'm sure they'll will with Marvel. I'm sure they'll do the same with Marvel. Honestly, if they do another one after this, I'd love a Transformers one. I would love a Transformers 2D beat 'em up where you're just going around as Optimus, Bumblebee, RC, etc., and just beating the shit out of various Decepticons. Maybe a few other various Transformers villains, like you'd have Mech in there, or some of the mercenaries like Bugbiter, Lockdown. Just let you go through the rogues gallery of various Transformers villains and work your way through them for a little beat 'em up adventure. Hope they do that in the future. But yeah, Marvel Cosmic Invasion looks really good. I'm looking forward to that. If it's anywhere near as good as Shredder's Revenge, I'll probably have like a great time with it. And then the final game, not the final announcement, but the final game, Tomodachi Life 2, which you could probably tell from the beginning of the video. I never got on the Tomodachi Life train. I had a 3DS, but it just always passed me over because I was never like a life sim kid. I never got into Animal Crossing. I never got into Harvest Moon. I never got into any of that, and so Tomodachi Life always just seemed like it was kind of the same. But looking at this trailer and looking at what it is of just like this kind of like chill little basically simulation game, like it almost feels like The Sims. It almost feels like Nintendo's answer to The Sims, where you just create Miis, put them in your little town and see how they interact and live their lives. It looks like a fun idea, and it's something where once I grew up and once I kind of had a better idea of what Tomodachi Life is, I always meant to swing back around and give it a try. But by the time I was ready to do that, I didn't have my 3DS anymore, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go through all the trouble of finding another way to finding another 3DS to play it. So I was just kind of like, well, maybe they'll bring it to Switch. Like they brought Miitomo to Switch, and they did a really good job of updating the Mii Maker for that. So maybe they'll just do the same for Tomodachi Life. And lo and behold, they said, fuck that, we're gonna do one better, and we're just gonna make a sequel. And this just looks like everything good. I heard about the first one, and like just slightly weirder with these little dream segments where you just imagine bizarre shit like one of your Mii's growing giant. So I wonder if that's just gonna be like a thing that happens throughout the game, of like your character nodded off and you just go for these weird little dream fantasies, and that's just the game's excuse to get bizarre. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. I was never the hugest into these life sim games, but there is a charm to Tomodachi Life that makes me want to pick it up and makes me want to give it a shot. So that looks cool. That's also 2026. So again, that's another like little hook on the Switch. That's a little bit of bait on the end of the Switch hook. So that way it's like, even if you have a Switch 2, still come back and play these Switch games. And hey, Switch 2 is backwards compatible. So these Switch games are basically going to, like, all of these games are basically just going to double as Switch 2 games for anybody who has that. So it's like, hey, if you just want to look at Tomodachi Life 2 or Metroid Prime 4, Rhythm Heaven, any of those games, if you get a Switch 2 and you decide to pick these games up, these might as well just be Switch 2 games to you because they're also playable there. So I think that's a really smart strategy, and I think that means that people can be way more excited for these games without going like, hey, why is this not on Switch 2? What the fuck? But so that's honestly also a good move, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing. I've been saying that a lot, but this does look like a fun time. I'll try to give this a shot and really see if I end up falling in love with what made so many other people fall in love with fucking Tomodachi Life. And then the last thing in the Direct was not a game, but a new app, Nintendo Today. And from what I can tell, it's based on Nintendo's like little newsletter. It's basically a newsletter specifically for Nintendo stuff. So like I downloaded the app just recently, and they announced the release date for the Zelda movie on there for a little video. They have little like artwork for series, so you can pick series that you like. So hey, I like Splatoon, and then you'll get like Splatoon artwork every day. It's a cute little idea. I don't know how much people are really going to stick with this. I feel like what's going to happen is there's going to be like one or two people following whatever news is on here, and then they're just going to relay that news to Blue Sky and Twitter. So it'll be like, hey, Nintendo Today announces the Zelda movie date, and then that just ends up on Blue Sky and Twitter within the hour. So I don't know how many people are actually going to use this app on a daily basis, but I think it's a cute idea, and I understand the reason why Nintendo has this, because it gives them a level of control that they don't have over Blue Sky or Twitter. And I could imagine if it's like, hey, Twitter went to shit after Elon Musk bought it, and Twitter had all this fucking drama around it. I bet there was someone at Nintendo saying like, man, if we own that site, we could just avoid all of that, and we could just have our own little like closed, like basically it's the same mentality that led to Miiverse back during the Wii U and 3DS era. This kind of desire for a closed garden ecosystem where you can control everything and you can communicate with people your way. I think this is an interesting way of doing it. I don't know how long it'll last, but color me intrigued. Color me intrigued to see how people respond to this. I like it so far. It's a very cute little app to just like sign into and be like, oh, here's my little fix of Nintendo news for the day. Okay, I'm good. I wouldn't mind if more companies did this. Like, I honestly wouldn't mind if like, I mean, Steam already has an app where you can buy games, but I wouldn't mind like a whole like Steam news app where it just collects various little news bits from the gaming industry and puts it in. Like, honestly, I need to see if there's like a gaming news app that I could just get, like something like a IGN or a Kotaku but in app form would be really nice. So I could just like scroll through that, because right now I use Reddit for that. I use Reddit, and I use the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, and I use like the regular gaming subreddit. But I want to curate and make like a whole just gaming news little app for myself. And Nintendo Today is like a little piece of that, but just obviously just for Nintendo. So that's a cool idea, and that's a really fun little way to communicate with people in the future. So if nothing else, I applaud the attempt, even if it doesn't end up working out. I'm kind of glad that Nintendo is looking to alternate ways of communicating with people, and I kind of hope other companies pick up on this and be like, hey, maybe we'll do a PlayStation news app, or maybe we'll do a Capcom news app. I think that'd be a fun thing, even if it does mean you're gonna overload your phone. Like, even if you're like your phone home screen is just gonna be filled with gaming news apps. I still think it's a cool idea. But that's everything in the Direct. 30 minutes for this direct, it was honestly pretty okay. I went into it trying not to expect anything huge. I went into it trying not to get too excited, and I think doing that ultimately helped me set my expectations. Although I will say, even if not everything was for me, the stuff in here that was for me really hit me hard. So Metroid Prime 4, getting another look, really got me excited. Marvel Cosmic Invasion really got me excited. Rhythm of Heaven Groove really got me excited. Like, the stuff in there that was for me was like really for me. And like I said, even the stuff that wasn't, stuff like Nintendo Today, or stuff like Tomodachi Life 2, or rather Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, as it's called, instead of just Tomodachi Life 2, which I think is kind of funny. I guess they had to do that because it's been so long since the original. Like, the original was like, what, 2013? It's like been forever since the original Tomodachi Life, so I kind of get why they decided to go for a subtitle instead of just calling it Tomodachi Life 2. But even the stuff that wasn't entirely for me necessarily still had me interested enough that I want to give it a shot and that I want to see more of it. I'll admit, I purposely kept my expectations low. I purposely tried to keep myself from getting too excited, but I had a good time. I thought this was like a really good showcase, and it was a really good way to kind of bow out the original Switch and like open up the door for the Switch 2 and kind of lead into that. And I'm like really excited, and I'm hyped. I am hyped for the Switch 2 Direct now, but this showcase, I think, was a really good way of just like, hey, the Switch 1 isn't going anywhere just yet. Here's one more little show in the spotlight. Here's one more little, like, big blowout for the Switch 1 of a bunch of games that are coming soon. And just, here's a good way to send this off before we dive into the next gen. And I think it did a good job doing that. I had a good time. And I really hope that the Switch 2 Direct is like much better than this, but at the very least as good, if not better than this. So that's all I wanted to say. Just want to come in here and talk real quick about this. I say real quick, it's like 40 minutes. I just kind of want to come on here and ramble about this Direct, give my thoughts on it. Looking forward to most of these games. Looking forward to it. Like, again, I fucking can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. Can't wait for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Really curious how Shadow Labyrinth is going to turn out. But most of these games have me excited, or at the very least, they have my attention. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these all turn out. And yeah, just wanted to come on here, talk about this for a little bit, and share my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and always crank up the noise. I'll see you soon. I want to do another video like this for when the April 2nd Direct happens, and then I'm not sure if I'll be able to. I am planning to go see the Minecraft movie. I really do want to go see it. It looks so stupid, but I'm like really curious because I've always been like oddly fascinated with video game movies, and so this is another one of like, okay, I am so just like perplexed as to how this is going to work. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to review that soon. But either way, I'll see you soon, and have a wonderful day. Be sure to like the video.